Hello everybody, welcome to finishing off. I needed to finish off this series. I started it, and I'm up to Act 7.4.5, and I needed to finish this video. Not that it's been something I think a lot of people have been interested in, but I think I like these videos. I think they're really cool, and especially chart-like progress that I'm making in this. So in a nutshell, this is an Act 7.4.6 all paths and boss counter video, or kind of like how to take down the boss type video. But I'm going to make it a little bit shorter than normal, especially because there's a lot more to the boss to kind of break down. So check out the link in the description for the final bit of this particular spreadsheet. So it has tabs always at the bottom of it. It indicates which different type of part of it for exploration. And let's put it this way, it is more important than ever to 100% Act 7 if you Act 7.4 if you haven't done already. So you can check out the guide in link in the description, and it'll go over the various different types of paths. Now 7.4.6 is a pretty doable quest. I would say the easiest path, if you wanted an option, in my personal opinion, is path number 4. And path number 4 is this one here, which is Power Technician. And the great thing about this is if you've got champions that are tech, that's great. If you've got tech and also draw a armor up buff, then hey, double win for you. There's nothing hugely to worry about, especially with this one, but I would say that it's important that if you are looking to take on unblockable champions, you need an armor up buff. But as I've put here, 5 hits gets you a steadfast buff, which allows you to block unblockables. But in a nutshell, if you've got Warlock or Guillotine 2099, they literally just blast through the path. It's so easy to just go and do. And you can play into a lot of the stuff the way that the slipstreams work. But I really will be honest on this one. The slipstreams aren't that much of a problem. I mean, from doing it, didn't have any issues. I think 7.2.6 with the Grandmaster is probably more difficult and takes away the fun elements to this particular grind when it comes to okay, well, should I reduce this slipstream or not? But you're doing the same fight over and over again regardless, and it's pretty much fun. I really enjoyed doing the Kang fight, especially understanding the extent of doing different types of attacks on the enemy means you get a slipstream charge. Each charge build up to 10 means that the champion is wounded. It's so much more straightforward to think of, and especially bringing in the range of champions you can bring in. So that's kind of my pointer right there on the easiest path. Some things to watch out for. I would say that if you don't have a Magneto, some things are going to be a little bit annoying, especially dealing with a lot of hashtag metal based champions. Largely when it comes to persistent pressure, ebb and flow, there's a few kind of times I've seen people kind of talk about some issues with that one, and that's on path 5. For that, I use Magneto a lot because it is very helpful in taking down enemies. Another easy path in my opinion is path 6, which is all about paradoxes. And the only thing to watch out for that one is Korg. The Korg fight and the Airwalker fight. This is good because you will be taking champions that maybe you would be right, well, I'm bringing individual counters for each individual champion. This is why I had Apocalypse on the team, Human Torch, Doctor Doom, and Warlock. They dealt with situations of suppressing healing from Blade, dealing with Sorcerer Supreme, dealing with Scarlet Witch Sigil, which, is a great mystic counter, and Doctor Doom for taking on the likes of Airwalker. But it doesn't limit it to that, and obviously on the spreadsheet we've got a multitude of different types of suggestions of champions to take down the enemy. Also, a shout out to is it MCOC Noob? I think it's MCOC Noob. No, it's MCOCguide.com for lots for the spotlight on Kang, which we're going to talk about in a minute, and also for this series, shout out to Sugar for his suggestions of champions. I've added it to my own and also some other suggestions as well, and we've got a nice little kind of mix of guide for this. But in a nutshell, it is a great quest. I don't think there's any kind of great problems, especially for the champions you bring in. If you got yourself Nick Fury, Immortal Abomination, Black Widow, Deadly Origin, you can have a lot of fun when going against this particular path here, which is the underdog path. Love these. I actually really enjoy underdog paths a lot more than I thought I would, so there's respect to that one. I'm glad Kabam put that in. So yeah, that's that. Right, let's now talk about the boss. So I'm not 100% sure. I would reference this if I knew where it came from, but there's on the spreadsheet I've added this. Somebody created this little kind of infographic here. I don't know who created it, so shout out to who it is, and maybe I can put this on the spreadsheet to kind of like say thank you. I've put the champion boss spotlight on here, the link here, so if you click the link it takes you to MCOC guide. Shout out to MCOC guide. I thought I'd just kind of like add this to this, which in a nutshell just kind of goes over what happens with this particular breakdown, and I've put together like a couple sentence kind of breakdown of things. The main thing that you need to do, which we're going to showcase in a minute on screen, is create slipstream charges. Create 10, it wounds the enemy. Right, so let's have a quick look at the boss. So as you can see right here, every time you kind of do something like a motion, like I just did there, which was do a parry, which first of all, like that's a mistake. That's good actually to show mistakes, right? So what I was meant to do is when you do a parry and hit, you get this kind of like counter, and you have to evade the counter in order to get slipstream charge. There's a good example. That was an intercept. That was a parry. So you're doing a parry, and then the champion will try to hit you, and then you've got to try and evade it. Now you also saw me making a mistake. I'm going to make a few mistakes here, but for a large part, I do very well to kind of like understand the fight. When you come into it, you've got to understand the motion of the champion, and that's going to be the one thing. There we go. That's the evade and got the counter attack. So I tried to punish on the special attack and then evade back. Boom, there. So and I know it's really quick maybe for those who haven't seen it, and I get clipped there, which is not the end of the world. That's why we've got King Groot, because he does kind of help out for these matters. I'm trying to get an intercept in. So there we go. This is a good kind of example there. Intercept, parry, hit, swipe away. You know, that's kind of like the motion, and there we go in with the wounded. Now, yeah, I must admit, like I made a few mistakes with this, but at the end of the day, there's a difference between making a mistake and still keep going and having the right champions for this. This is why, as you can see, with the extensive amount of damage that I've got with having a champion like King Groot, which provides debuffs, which is important when you're in phase 1. Unique buffs on you equal more damage you do, which you saw right there, top left hand corner, was more of those parry buffs. Now I make a mistake there, and let's go into like I did make a few mistakes, but there's a difference between, again, like the extent of making mistakes, understanding mistakes. You've got to like, this is the problem. You've got to play, if you want to get the solo, you've got to be playing perfect, and sometimes it'll happen, sometimes it won't, and sometimes it'll be slow motion. In phase 2, which we are at the moment, watch out for slow motion, and you might have to change the way that you hit. But then I've kind of like just built up all my kind of my charges, and then I get wounded. I will point out though that in this phase, unique debuffs equal more damage. Now, what I made the mistake of is not there we go. So that's what I was meant to have done, is thrown an SP1 to put debuffs on. See, in hindsight, you learn from these things and need to go, right, this is what you need to do in future. Also, I was a bit aggressive there and got clipped for my trouble. But we start again. We try and get a parry, hit, get the counter attack, and then we evade away for the slipstream. Again, try to punish right there on the intercept and get that. So phase 1 and phase 2 are the most straightforward. They're easier. And by phase 3, I thought, oh, what I want to do is use my... it's like Human Torch has got some great debuffs to him, but he doesn't have any buffs. What you can do is bring Odin on a team to a champion that has a lot of debuffs and make them able to have buffs, which you can see right there, top left hand corner. We've got those pre-fights, and that's great. That is great for the likes of Human Torch if you plan to use him. And I'm using Human Torch because of the rate of damage, especially if you've got, which you can see I've made a mistake, is that I didn't put my pre-fight on. But I think that's the thing of also finding your way with it and trying not to make mistakes, which kind of like not having my pre-fight, sort of a mistake, but it isn't to some degree. Like I need to put debuffs on. You can see the debuffs kind of ramping up right there, which is helpful to the wounded phase, and that's why you're going to see like a lot of damage is going to come in very shortly as I play very aggressively. And also I've got to remember, you know, apply kind of like, that's it, go do like a parry heavy, Rich. That might be quite helpful. But debuffs are the way to go. Whilst I'm wasting time, I'm like, look, just apply as many debuffs as possible to be effective as possible, and you can see a rapid amount of damage that was taken down. But phase 4, ladies and gentlemen, I clutch up really nicely here for this, because I nearly made a mistake. and I'm more like, what, 1% or something. I'm like, dude, that is so close. That's clutch right there. Just gonna get in with that. But it is what it is. It's nice when that happens. But look, when it comes to phase 4, and I should have explained with phase 3, you should not repeat the same action to create the slipstream. So if you did a parry and did the slipstream, if you did and then did an intercept, do a slipstream, you should not intercept again, and you should not parry. So don't replicate anything. And also when you go from in phase 3, it's about champions unique buffs, and when it's phase 4, it's champions with damaging debuffs on them, which you can see right there. And this is the final finish off right there, in that as soon as you get down to a sliver of health, it's a 5-hit combo and done. Love it. See, I do love it when a plan comes together and you end up defeating the enemy. So that's that kind of broken down. There's more on the spreadsheet if you want to go and check that out. It's kind of like built up in a certain way, but never repeat the same action again, especially in I think it's phase 3 and phase 4. But yeah, that has been the video. As I said, I wanted to make this in a more kind of quicker fashion because I just wanted to put it out there and make sure that I finished off this series before concentrating on anything else that I've got to make. So yeah, thanks very much for watching this video. Thank you for those out there that supported this series and have been interested in it. I've put a link in the description to other stuff, and yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the series, and I'll see you in the next video whenever that will be. Cheers, everybody. Bye.